Hello and welcome! In Series 4, I made a guide for how to buy and download PSP games for PSP users who didn't have a PlayStation 3 to go and buy games for them. I made that video to kind of show how well Sony supported their older legacy systems well after they've been discontinued. And I made that video with the expectation that Sony would continue to have that same support, official or otherwise. However, in 2020, I was proven quite wrong, as Sony announced that its web store, which that video was structured around, was going to be updated and was no longer going to support the purchase of legacy titles for the PSP, PlayStation 3, and Vita. Now, I'd assume that this is because of their new push and focus for the brand new PlayStation 5 at the time, and I thought that was going to be it. You just use a PS3. However, in 2021, Sony then announced that the PlayStation Store for those systems was shutting down for good. Now, my natural response to hearing such a news was pure panic, and I basically got a list of all the games that I'd ever need to buy, and I bought them. And in that blizzard of purchasing, I thought it'd be good to document my experience of buying so many games from these relatively dated stores, so that way you can be a little more prepared than I was going in. But before that, here's a quick message from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by us at 16-Bit Games. 16-Bit Games has a variety of mobile games available on Android and iOS. They're fun, fast action games designed with mobile devices in mind, which means they all look, play, and control well, no matter what device you have. Play them today for free from the links in the description below. Now, before I went into a complete tizzy and bought every game I could afford, I had a small moment of clarity and thought, hey, wouldn't it be fun to see how functional the PlayStation Store is on each legacy system I own? So I went to the shops and got these 3 PlayStation Store gift cards, one for each system that Sony was killing off. And with everything I needed in hand to go and buy games from the PlayStation Store, I started my shopping spree with the PlayStation Portable. And boy oh boy, is that storefront as dead as it has ever been since it was officially discontinued in 2016. Now, when I considered buying games from the PlayStation Portable, I was well aware of not only the PSP's age, but its laughably outdated security and software. So to protect my credit card information, I kept it as far away from my PSP as I possibly could. So the only way I could buy games and put money onto my account on the PSP was through the gift cards, which I think should be fine just as long as I can redeem it. And to my surprise, I actually was not only able to redeem my recently purchased gift card, but I was also able to ignore all of Sony's warnings, search for a PSP game to buy, bought it, and attempted to download my newly purchased PSP game. Now, as a small note, searching is the only way which you can actually find content on the old store. So, if you know what PSP game you're looking for, you're fine, but if you don't, it might take a bit to find it. Now, when it comes to downloading PSP games, you gotta remember this is a system from 2004. Back in the day, the PSP's download speed was considered acceptable, and its battery life was considered good, even when connecting to the internet. Today, though, with the modern devices, even with the Vita, it's considered laughably slow and had 10 years of battery wear and tear, and rather embarrassingly, my PSP died while trying to install my newly minted game. Add to the simple fact that the PSP has no download queue nor ability to recover from power failure, and, well, I had to restart my download from scratch. So if you are considering downloading games on the PSP, make sure you have a charger close in hand. But despite my PSP's bored battery life, I'm actually quite surprised that Sony allows users to buy and download PSP games on a PSP. However, just because you can do it doesn't mean I'd actually recommend it. Just like I did in the last video, buying games one at a time is a very slow and tedious process. But fortunately, not all of Sony's portables were abandoned in 2016, and buying games on a PlayStation Vita is just as easy as it's always been. Plus, with recent TLS security patches, I feel it would actually be safe to use my credit card on the Vita too. Buying games was as easy as just plugging in my gift card code, searching for the games that I wanted to buy, and purchasing them and adding them to my PSP's downloading queue. And heck, I was even able to play games while I waited for my downloads to complete. But sadly, buying games on the Vita isn't as easy as it could have been. Firstly, the store was conceived in 2011/2012, so there's no shopping cart to speak of, so you have to buy each and every game one at a time, which is rather annoying. Secondly, the PlayStation Vita store is notorious for missing older titles that are, on a technicality, officially supported on the Vita. A good example of this would be the PSP Star Wars games. Almost all of them were available to buy digitally on the PSP and are compatible with the PlayStation Vita, and yet you cannot buy any of them from the Vita's store, though you can download them. And there are even some officially supported PSP games that you can't download at all on a Vita. It's moments like this which really shows you how much care and attention to detail which Sony gave to the PlayStation Vita. Which is why if you have either the PlayStation Portable or the PlayStation Vita, I would recommend buying and downloading your games with a PlayStation 3. Now the PlayStation 3 is more or less exactly how the old web store used to work before Sony turned it off. And the PlayStation 3 has all the modern features a modern shopper needs. It has a searchable store with general browsing, with filters, a shopping cart with promise secure checkouts, and multiple ways to pay. It is in every way the most feature-rich shopping experience that Sony offers now for their older systems. However, despite having the same framework as the old web store, it's running on hardware which was never really designed to actually run such an app. And it's extremely apparent that the PlayStation 3 is struggling to run this when you're trying to browse for games. But despite the bugs, glitches, and many issues, some of which I probably even haven't found yet, I'm still going to recommend the PlayStation 3's store. Yes, it's buggy, but it gives you a shopping cart, a convenience that I didn't think I would care for, but it really makes buying in bulk a lot easier. Plus, if you're a PSP or a Vita owner, there's additional benefits for buying your games on the PlayStation 3. For PSP owners, the PS3 isn't just able to browse for PSP games, but you also have more checkout options than just gift cards, and downloads are light years faster than it will ever be on a PSP. And though the benefits for Vita owners isn't as apparent if you're just buying Vita games, if you choose to buy PSP games, you'll have access to the entire compatible PSP library, though I'd recommend looking for a guide online to make sure that the game you want to buy actually works on the PSP. PSP compatibility is kind of a mess if you're not into homebrew. So now that the PlayStation Store is officially going to be killed off for the PlayStation Portable, Vita, and 3, I hope that this guide will help you make the best purchasing decision that you need in order to get the games that you want for the systems you have. It's going to be a sad day when many of these once great and amazing games or downloadable contents will become either too expensive or impossible to attain for those not brave enough to set sail on the high seas. But for me, that's a problem for future Andre to have. And I know at the moment I have secured every digital PSP Vita and PS3 game that I might desire for some years to come. So if you'll excuse me, I have quite a lot of RPGs to catch up on. So thank you ever so much for watching this video. I hope you have yourself a good day, and as always, take care.